All right. Welcome back to the Hotshot Haven. It's me, Jonathan, bringing you more informative content to the channel. Living this hotshot life, man. More about the business, different things. Today we're gonna bring you a little load securement, man. I had a kind of an awkward load on the trailer right now. I just thought I'd take an opportunity to just kind of explain how and why and placement and everything about this load. I'm gonna drop a picture of it right there so you can see what's all going on with it while I explain. Also, dunnage, how you can use it for your advantage. It's not just to make the load sit up to where the forklift can get under it. It's also about spreading the load of the weight and not concentrating it so much on one particular area. As you can see, two pieces of dunnage. This load, this is an auger, or a big drill bit if you want to say it. It weighs 7,000 pounds, but it is only sitting on it's only covering about 6 foot of trailer. But this is what I like to call a concentrated load, because in 6 feet on this trailer, we got basically 7,000 pounds in 6 feet. But if you notice, the 7,000 pounds is not all flat across and evenly spread. If you can see that right there, and there is a reason why it's right there. See that? See that again? See that? Trust me, it's not going anywhere. But when you have loads like this, you don't want to concentrate 7,000 pounds on those small 3 points of contact. And if you do use one of the small points of contact, you need to place it in a particular spot. Okay? Now I'm gonna start with the trailer. Hey, before you start loading this stuff, because this is so dangerous, y'all. To be honest with you, you do load checks. They say within the first 30 minutes or the first 30 miles, but I do them first 30 minutes, first 30 miles, or even shorter. Then I do them probably every 2 to 3 hours. Anytime I pull over, I might have to use the bathroom, grab some fuel or anything. I'm coming back here and I'm tugging on these chains just to see what it is. Because, to tell you the truth, loads settle. This deck is wood, 7,000 pounds. Things settle. Things move, things change as you move with this stuff down the highway. Please don't think that you can strap one of these on and just run out and check it one time, drive 1,000 miles. Please don't do that. You're gonna kill somebody. Please do not do that. I had to tighten these chains back up on the way over here 3 times. 700 miles, 3 times. So, you know, it's just, you have to have some patience, and you have to put some effort and some thought into what you're doing. Okay, next, the placement. I got another picture I'm gonna drop right there. Where the placement of it, basically over the axles. And the reasoning behind that, most people would think is, well, you work the trailer, you let the trailer carry the weight. As long as you got enough tongue weight going on, you know, you're good. And you put that 7,000 pounds right there and it's no problem. And some people would say, why you didn't load it at the front? It's 7,000 pounds, it's within the weight limit. Why didn't you put it toward the front and load the neck of the trailer? Left yourself a whole lot of room. You would have had more to work with. You could have loaded from the rear. You could have got something longer that probably could have hung off the edge or any of that. Now I'm gonna tell you why, and it's a real good reason. And if you do this, before you start strapping stuff down, you need to learn your equipment. Whatever you have, take a moment, because this stuff ain't gonna stay in order and working and performing flawlessly without some type of attention. You need to take your time and go out and actually look at your trailer. Look at what you bought. Okay? Industry standard is 16 inches on center from cross member to cross member. Look under there. From there to there. It's usually 16 inches. Some people try to build lighter trailers and try to get more payload out of it and move the cross members farther apart, sometimes 18 inches, sometimes 24 inches off center, and that creates a problem with strength and durability on the trailer. You'll come to find out that most of those trailers on 24-inch centers are garbage. They ain't worth what they made out of. You could scrap it and it'd be worth more in scrap than, you know, what we use this stuff for. So, you know, 12-inch centers, if you get it built with 10-inch centers, you're doing good. But what I want to show you, and this is not true to every kind of trailer. I know it's true to PJ trailers. I know Lamar has some little extra stuff going on. But if you take a look, from right here all the way to right here. So from this chain spool all the way back up to this stake pocket, I want you to check something out. I want you to look at something with me. I want you to pay attention to something. You see that? This is where you put your concentrated loads. You notice that the center line of all numbers, 16 inches up into that particular area of the trailer. It's done like that for a reason. And that's to build more strength in that particular area of the trailer, because they know that the trailer is subject to be loaded very heavily over the trailer axles. The only thing you need to do is figure out where all of those cross members are without looking under the trailer. Some people would say, well, you go mark it, just measure it and mark something down the side of it. But this is where it comes into really knowing your equipment and knowing a little bit something about how this stuff is made and manufactured. I want you to notice something. Right there. Keep going. Right there. Keep going. Right there. Keep going. Right there. Right there. Keep going. Everywhere on your trailer that you see a screw hole in the wood, that is a cross member. When you put your dunnage on, when you put the weight of the load on, try to get it across the cross members. Do not center the load across the wood. It will go through. You got to think about it. It's not only the weight of the load, it's also the holding pressure of whatever you're using to secure whatever it is. So that's not just 7,000 pounds. That's 7,000 pounds plus probably about 4 or 5 of pressure squeezing it to the deck. That's why the weight and the pressure can let stuff like that work. Also, knowing your equipment. If you're walking around or you riding around and you're doing hot shots and stuff like that, you might want to invest in one of these. That might, you know, I'm going to do a list of a lot of stuff that you could use and need that a lot of people don't mention. But I don't think I ever heard anybody say anything about a tape measure. If you out here and you really hustling, how could you possibly tell someone exactly how many feet you have left unless you took the time to mark the trailer, which may fade away and you got to count the marks and all that, or you got a tape measure where you can go and say, man, I have 13 and a half feet, or I have 11 and a half feet. Sometimes the load is 10 feet, but they need another half a foot. They didn't exactly lie, but at the same time, you know, the way it's loaded, it may need another 6 inches. You know, the load might be hanging off the pallet a little bit when they put it on 6 inches. They need that, but we need to know. You know, if you're gonna really self-dispatch or dispatch a truck or something like that, and the driver can't call you can't call the driver, and the driver tell you exactly how many feet and how many pounds he's working with, he's not doing his job. If you riding around and you talking about you getting partials and whole loads and you hustling and stuff, and you know you trying to get something else to piece up on there, and then you walk back and do this right here. Then what you do? 1, 2, 3, 4, and guess. At the end of the day, you're gonna be close. But the difference between needing 14 feet and having 14 feet might be 6 inches. It might be enough where you really can't do it. You know, it doesn't happen like that all the time, but you got to understand that this stuff is about knowing numbers and utilizing every inch, utilizing every pound at any given time when it's worth it. This load right here, like I said, 7,000 pounds. Each one of these chains, and I have 2 different grades of chain I'm using, and it's actually for a reason. It's because I'm really overkill on this. If y'all look at that, if you look at that, let me see if I can see on one of these chains. This chain right here will hold a working load weight of 4,700 pounds. This chain right here and this chain right here, each of those will hold 5,400 pounds. The reason I used a lighter duty chain in one part is because the size of what I was trying to get attached to. I could have took the hook off and ran it through there, but I didn't want to do that. And I also knew I was going to add more chain. So if you add up 54 and 54, that's 10,800 pounds. And you got 47. The reason why I do this, man, is because this stuff is so serious. You got people out there jumping out in front of you trying to get the insurance money. You got people trying to get damage claims on you. And you got to go home on Friday. That's the biggest thing, man. Getting home whenever you got to get home, being safe enough to get there. And that's why. Because if you look at it, 7,000 pounds, you would say 2 chains is fine. It still would be overkill. That's 10,000 pounds of work of load limit. But this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, because you have to take force times mass and calculate that with the speed that you travel. And it's not no rocket science stuff, and I'm not gonna do equations on the thing and all this stuff. We're not finna go trigonometry on here. But just know that holding this stuff down is not only what you're trying to do. You really need to be able to stop in excess of 7,000 pounds from going forward. Now just think about this scenario. You're riding down the interstate, God forbid somebody pulls out in front of you. You jam on brakes because they jammed on brakes. because the person in front of them jammed on brakes and you can't stop. So the last 3 cars in front of you have all rear-ended each other and you're next. Your truck is gonna stop in a hurry. What's this gonna do? It's gonna try its best to keep going. Where is it going? Straight in the cab of that truck. I want to know in my mind, with the best assurance possible, that if I were to have an accident, God forbid that happen, but if I were to have an accident where this truck came to a sudden and complete stop at 65 miles an hour, even if this trailer rolled over, when they pull it out the ditch, she gonna be right there. She gonna be right there. It ain't nowhere in the world, you know? And I mean, things happen, but at the same time, you want to minimize the chance of these things going wrong because it's gonna be catastrophic. You know, and like I said, everybody's trying to go home. Another thing I want to reiterate about this, that dunnage, it's spreading the weight, most of the weight of the 7,000 pounds over about 7 or 8 cross members. That's big. I'm not overstressing the deck. I'm not stressing the wood. I'm not stressing the frame of the trailer. It's not as center as it could be, but it's about as center as it could be. If you know what I mean. This is a corkscrew, so it doesn't really lay on its side center. But I worked with the crane operator and got it dropped down, and I spent it to where it would be very close, if not perfect center on the trailer, you know, to keep the side-to-side motion. But believe me, it's not going anywhere. And like I said, when you stop, do your load check, check your chain, check your binder, check your ramps, check everything. Check your lights, check your tires, check everything, because I mean, it really only takes one time to forget something, overlook something, don't pre-trip something, and catastrophic things happen. And it's devastating. If you could tell the way I did this, everything is holding it down. It is. Especially this chain right there. Especially that chain right there. Everything is holding in a downward fashion. But if you look at it, how it's secured, that's the front of the truck. What's the main consideration? It seems like if you look at how these chains are, we holding it down, but the main consideration is to keep it from going forward. And in some type of way or fashion, even though 2 of the chains are really holding it down, all 3 chains are holding it down and back. I have 1 chain actually holding it from going the opposite way, and I crisscrossed them. That's the front of the truck on this side. Got 2 toward the front here. So we made that X pattern. We made that X pattern to hold it down. We put that 3rd one right here going across to hold it down and back. Feel me? And this is the Hotshot Haven, man. I'm gonna drop some pictures up in there so y'all can just see some different loads and load securement a little bit later on. But y'all stay tuned, man. Like, comment, subscribe.